I love studio tours. I really like to see what gear other musicians are using and what they are using it for. But I also like the videos where they tell us what gear they've got rid of, and I really like to know why they got rid of it. It's not always because it wasn't very good. Sometimes they just can't get on with it, or sometimes they grow out of it, I guess. So in this video, I would like to tell you about 3 synthesizers which I have sold over the last few months. I feel as if I should have a little graphic video and say, coming right up, and then play the video. But I haven't, so we'll just get into it. Now, if you've been watching my videos for a while, the first one will probably come as no surprise at all. It was the Roland JD08. Now, I think I've made 4 videos about the JD08. 2 of them were not particularly complimentary. It was also my first unboxing video, and I was really excited to get this, a JD800 in a boutique format. One of the videos was called Roland's Worst Designed Synth Ever, and that is a statement I still stand by. Now, the sounds were really good. They were based on the JD800. I thought I might be getting the JD800 in a box, but I wasn't. The sounds are based on the JD800, but the sounds are not interchangeable. There were just so many problems with this synth. You couldn't insert individual patches from a third-party source into the bank. You could save the entire bank to your computer and load an entire bank back into the synth, but you couldn't move individual patches around. It's unbelievable in this day and age of technology and software, and Roland has been majoring on software over the last few years. Anyway, that was just one thing. If you want to check out the video, just in case you're thinking of buying one, please read the comments, because there were problems with the synths which I didn't discover because I didn't get into it very far. Things about some layers or waveforms or whatever not playing on certain MIDI channels. There was a lot of stuff could have been fixed in firmware, but I don't think Roland bothered to update the firmware at all. I was also majorly, I have to say, disappointed with the user interface. Now, trying to cram a JD800 into a boutique format, I don't think was the best, most sensible design decision ever. And that was one of my complaints about it. There were a lot of multi-button pushes, which is typical on Roland gear. I think if you want to design a synthesizer for Roland, the first thing you are told is, if there's a menu, put lots and lots and lots and lots of sub-menus in it. And if there is not a menu, or even if there is a menu, no button can have only one function. That's how I see Roland synthesizers today. Oh well. So there were just so many little niggles and problems with it, the lack of any updates or any attempt by Roland to address some of the problems. I just really became so unenthused by it. I stopped using that. I haven't used it for a long time. So I sold it. I bought it about 1.5 years ago. It was one of the first batches of JD08s to enter the UK. So of course I paid full suggested retail price for it. So I took about a £100 hit on it when I sold it. But I don't miss it, and I'm grateful, in fact, that it is not my studio preying on my mind saying, use me, when I just really didn't want to. So the second synth I sold was another Roland boutique, the SH01A. Now, this was a boutique version of the Roland SH101, a classic Roland synthesizer, but it was 4-note polyphonic, and I thought this would be good. Now, this is a slightly simpler interface than the JD08, although it still has Roland's trademark multiple button pushes. So I played through a few of the presets and twiddled a few of the sliders, but my impression, I'm sorry to say, was that the sounds just really were, in my view, rather lackluster. And that might be a sacrilegious thing to say about the SH101 or its boutique equivalent. I just really wasn't inspired by it. What can I say? Now, if you love the 101 or the SH01A, that brilliant. But it just didn't speak to me the way I was hoping it was going to. I didn't find it at all inspiring. So it just sat there really, it was basically unused. I didn't touch it after going through the presets, and that's criminal, really, I guess. But not using it, I thought, well, there's absolutely no point in keeping it if I'm not going to use it, so I sold that one as well. I didn't lose quite as much on that as I did on the JD08. I bought it from Amazon. I got a pretty good deal on that, but I still took a hit on that. So again, I wasn't using it. It was taking up space and using money, I guess. So I'm not sad to have got rid of that either. Now, the third synth I sold was the Novation UltraNova. Now, this is quite an old synthesizer. It was released back in 2010, I think. But I bought it for two reasons. I really liked the sounds in it, and also it had a built-in vocoder, and at the time I wanted a vocoder. Now, I have since acquired two pieces of hardware with built-in vocoders, and I have a couple of software vocoders as well, so that part of the synthesizer really became redundant, and to be honest, I never actually used the vocoder. But I did like the sounds, and I actually used it on, I think, one piece of music, which is on the channel. Now, the main reason for getting rid of it is, well, it's a very personal reason. If you've seen some of my other videos, you may recall that I have a degenerative eye condition. Now, the UltraNova is a digital synthesizer. Now, it has some controls on the panel. You really need to be able to read the LCD, and I actually couldn't. I really couldn't read this LCD at all. I did work out where the preset buttons were. I could step forwards and backwards through the presets, but that was about it. So I was quite disappointed that I couldn't make a better use of it. I still think it is a cracking synth. I bought it, it was a few years ago, but I bought it second hand, and when I sold it, I think I actually made a few bob on it. Not enough to cover the losses on the Rolands, but a little gain here and there is not a bad thing. Now, if I had been able to see the LCD and use the thing to its full potential, I probably would still have it today. So the fact that I got rid of it is absolutely no slight on the instrument at all, unlike the boutiques. So that is what I've been selling recently and why I sell them. I hope you found that almost as interesting as a studio tour. So what synth or synths have you sold, and why did you sell them? Let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested. And if you found this video interesting and you haven't yet subscribed, maybe you would like to. And whether you do or whether you don't, if you would like to click the big thumb, that would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. And if you have enjoyed this video, then I think you will enjoy these videos as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon in the next one.